We're good? Hey, hey. Good evening, everyone. Council meeting, April 28th, 2026. This is our closed session. And we'll start off with the calling of the roll.
Councilmember Andriotta.
Present.
Councilmember Reedy. Mayor Pro Tem Eklund.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Mayor Pearl.
Here. Okay, thank you very much. We have two closed session items, 1A, conference with labor negotiator, Local 39, and 1B, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, the Gathering Inn. Do we have anyone, I'm going to call, City Clerk, do we have anyone in the audience? I don't see anyone in the audience wishing to make a public comment. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to provide public comment on closed session agenda items? I do not see any hands raised.
Thank you very much. In that case, we will adjourn the closed session and move to our closed session. Call this meeting to order, April 28th, City of Lincoln, regular city council meeting, Lincoln Redevelopment Agency, successor agency, and Lincoln Public Financing Authority. Okay. Blair, would you start us off, please?
Good evening and welcome to the City of Lincoln's regular meeting of the City Council. Tonight's meeting will be televised and available on cable channel 18, YouTube, and Zoom. Those wishing to address City Council on either non-agenda or agenda items will be called upon at the appropriate time. Those who submitted a speaker card will be called first, followed by those in the audience, and finally those attending through Zoom. For those participating through Zoom that wish to provide public comment, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 if you are calling in. Once public comment is open, please wait to be unmuted by the city clerk. Once unmuted, your name will be called and you may proceed in making your public comment. This evening's invocation will be given by Pastor Tom Galovich of Valley View Church. Once the invocation has concluded, Mayor Pearl will call the meeting to order.
Pastor?
In a word of prayer, please. Father, we thank you for this time when we can come together. We lift our leaders, national, state, and local. Grant them wisdom, humility, and a desire to serve with integrity and justice. Guide their decisions to protect the freedoms and peace of this land. We pray for unity and healing. We ask for peace in our communities and unity among our people, especially in light of the events of this last weekend. Heal the divisions that separate us and help us to live as one nation, indivisible. We pray for truth and righteousness. May righteousness define our nation and truth prevail. Guide us away from selfish ambition and towards love, humility, and obedience to your ways. We pray for protection and prosperity. Protect our citizens from harm and bring blessing, health, and prosperity from sea to shining sea. Defend the vulnerable and the voiceless. And lastly, we pray for spiritual revival. We pray for a revival of faith and a heart that turns towards you, as it says in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their lands. We ask this in your precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Well said, as always. Thank you very much. Okay, we call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Andriotta.
Present.
Councilmember Reedy.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Eklund.
Here.
Mayor Pearl.
Here. Okay, very good. Number 7, report from closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. On items 1A and 1B, direction's been provided to staff.
Thank you very much. We'll now continue with the Pledge of Allegiance. Kevin Siddle, would you leave us in the pledge, please?
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Agenda modifications, anyone on my colleagues? Anyone, staff, anything? Okay, very good. Do we have, for number 10, we're starting this, information item, the disclosures. Do any information disclosures that any of us need to make? None? No here? Much. Excuse me, presentations, we have no presentations. Okay, public comment on non-agenda items. All speakers will be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by the mayor. All comments or questions should be addressed to the mayor, and in most cases, the city council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, but may engage in brief discussion, provide direction to city staff, or schedule items for future meetings. Madam Clerk, who do we have?
We have 5 speaker cards. First up, I have Steve Ambrose, and second will be Christopher Lane.
Steve Ambrose. I've been a Lincoln resident since the day I was born, so it's been a few years. Received the brochure, the mail, and it talks about the city and some of the challenge that the city's having. And over the years, heard, from this council and city in general about transparency and fiscal sustainability and accountability. But in reading this doesn't sound like fiscal sustainability. Sounds like there's going to be some serious challenges ahead. And accountability, I think this council should acknowledge you are accountable for where we're at. I think where the city's at now has probably occurred in the last 6 to 8 years, decisions made. And moving forward, I think the city residents, they want to hear straightforward communication. I don't think they want to hear stories or excuses about prior city council members, prior city staff, whatever may be. You need to take on the accountability issue. Also on the city website, read where it said that there's 15 permanent positions funded by part-time or one-time revenues, which again is not fiscal sustainability. So it just seems like what's coming next is going to be the ransom letter, where it's going to be sent out to the community that says, basically, either you agree to pay taxes or we're going to cut public safety. So maybe a suggestion before it comes to that ultimatum, maybe the city should maybe take process that I think Roseville used about a decade ago, where they actually formed a committee of independent group of community members. They were allowed to review with staff that were in the general fund some of their costs, their expectations, their needs, their demands. And hopefully that committee could come forward and support a sales tax measure if that's brought forward. And maybe as a suggestion to that, I think Marcus LeDuc actually served on that for Roseville. He might be able to give some direction on how that occurred back then. But so hopefully this can be worked out with the city. There's always challenges, always has been challenges. Years ago, council was very clear every budget year what their direction was, and it was live within your means. They did not like using reserves. They did not run deficits. Anyway, that is my comment this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Let me just say that I've been following what's going on with the city since 2010. I came here in 2008, and I don't think that we have ever been as transparent with what is going on internally as we have been, certainly within the past couple of years. So I'm very encouraged with what we've done, what we've accomplished, and what we have on a table to continue to accomplish. So I think as far as transparency goes, we are all in when it comes to transparency. Thank you very much. Number 2.
After Chris Lane is Stan Nader.
I've been living in Lincoln for the past 20 years, and I'm bringing urgent public safety issue to your attention. City council members, mayor, at the intersection of Joyner and Bella Breeze, there is a quarter-mile section of rebar sticking up only 4 feet from a well-used path traveled by many residents, children, seniors, parents. There is a cliff that if someone were to get too close or go off that trail could cause a person to be impaled or seriously injured by this rebar. The site is 850 Red Rock Road, I believe. And there has been a tremendous increase in the population in this area with 4 schools within a quarter mile from this site. It's only a matter of time before someone gets seriously injured or killed. Please notice the urgency of this matter. This is a very dangerous situation as people have already been wandering around this area, and you could tell by the wood bridges people have built to get up and down the side of the cliff. I have contacted the fire department, the city manager's office, the City of Lincoln Public Works Department. I am requesting immediate action before someone gets seriously injured or killed. This is to protect the safety of the public. This is a very dangerous, and there are no signs or fencing indicating so. I'm requesting that you send the fire department with all of their safety gear to bend the rebar over to remove the immediate threat of death. Once that is done, have the property owner, Lincoln MCC Project LLC, 45 Rockefeller Plaza, 1919 New York, New York, address the unsafe conditions that exist at this site. I'm requesting, or there are a lot of questions about how this site could go unchecked by the city for so long. About how the owner of the property could abandon this dangerous construction site and not be held accountable for demolition or removal of this very dangerous rebar. I ask that you reserve the right for us, the public, to get the answers to these questions at the next city council meeting. Right now, this is about protecting human life by removing the threat of death right away. This is an emergency. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter.
Thank you for bringing it forward. Sean, would you like to make a comment on that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I spoke to Chris a little bit earlier today. Hi, Chris. And we have, we got the complaint in, a certified order has gone out to the company, the holding company that owns this property. And they have 72 hours upon receipt to rectify the issue, at least on a preliminary level. And then we'll have conversations with them about what a long-term solution looks like. If that does not occur, I don't want to get into the legal details of what we do then, but we have some tools to address that moving forward. So we're on it.
Okay, good. Thank you. And thank you for bringing it forward, without a doubt. Yes.
Importance of addressing this issue right away.
Very good. Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate that. Stan?
After Stan is George Pilje.
Mr. Mayor and Council, my name is Stan Nader and I live in the 12 Bridges area. I had planned to speak to you again tonight regarding the dangers of e-bikes and e-scooters posed to the traveling public in our city. Many cities are taking an elevated approach to enforcement with severe penalties for violating basic traffic laws. If the city of Lincoln does not take immediate action, young riders could be killed, placing the city in potential legal jeopardy. I will further address this matter in 2 weeks. But after watching the video of the last city council meeting, I would like to address something the mayor brought up under council initiated business. His request was for city staff to research the city council members receiving a quote, pay increase, unquote. I was appalled that he would bring up such a subject given the city's 25-27 budget, which has a $3.6 million operational structural deficit. I do not believe the voting public would be pleased with that being considered given that fact. If one looks up the definition of operational structural deficit, one should be very concerned. It means that when ongoing expenditures exceed recurring revenues over a full economic cycle, regardless of the general economy's performance. The city will struggle for stability with limited resources. Structural deficits will persist even during general economic boom, requiring policy changes to correct. The stipend the city council members receive is to cover expenses, allowing recipients to focus on education, training, and volunteering. Being on the council is not a job where one would be expecting an hourly wage. You are in that position to be public servants, meaning you are serving the interest of others and not yourselves. Being on a city council member is an honor and a privilege, not a right. No one put a gun to your head and told you you had to run for city council. It is a choice one makes without any mental reservation. Councilmember Eklund raised the issue of someone not being able to afford being on the council because of the time required to complete associated duties. I would submit to you that the bigger impediment is the cost of running for council position. If one does not receive the curry of the development community, it is difficult to raise the money that one needs to get elected.
Thank you, Stan. Okay,
Will Foot, you are up after George.
Here 2 years ago, right? So I'm new. And mine will be short and sweet. It's about, I have problems. I live on Esplanade, Turkey Creek. And there's that pond behind the back there. And I get lots of mosquito bites and I swell up. Is there anything, I mean, I came from a town that they had bat boxes. I don't know if the university puts them up or something, but the bats eat a tremendous amount of mosquitoes. Right, that's their main diet. And that's that for that. And the other one was, when I came here, I gave my credit card to downstairs to pay for the sewage and garbage and things like that. And then you guys had a change in your computer program. And I was never charged for that before, but now there's like a 6% charge if you do that. And I was just down there and there were like 3 women behind me, and the one woman said she had to take time out of her day to come down to make the payments. But I just talked to someone back here and he said that there's a program where you can pay without having to go through all that. So, yeah, that's it. I mean,
well, thank you
that's,
very much. 2 questions over here, Sean, I think, and then probably Nita also.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry, sir. Where did you say you live?
Esplanade.
Esplanade, Turkey Creek.
So I can handle that for you. We have, weirdly, bats do live just under McBean Bridge. But the more effective method is we have a mosquito abatement district here, and they're actually pretty good. So I'll just do it for you. We'll contact them and let them know you're having some issues, and they'll get out to spray that area. And it happened in my neighborhood about a couple of years ago, and it greatly reduces bites.
I ran into the guy down there at the park.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was coming to do a presentation. I don't know if it was for you guys. Or for
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah, so I'll call it in, and they'll either do an aerial or they'll do a local application and come by. They're very responsive, so we'll take care of that for you. And then, yes, you're correct. There's a couple different methods that you can use to avoid the credit card convenience fee. Do you want to share that real quick, just for public knowledge?
Yeah, so the credit card convenience fee is 3.5%, but going to be reduced to 3% on May 1st, not 6. It was 3.5 and going down to 3%. But you can avoid it by either paying directly through the bill pay at your bank. You can also write us a check, or you can use the online e-check option, which does have a small fee at the moment, but we're working on having that fee removed. So there are plenty of options for you to avoid that, but if you're paying with a credit card, there is that convenience charge that the majority of government agencies charge their customers.
Thank you very much. Okay, Blair. Mr. Foot.
Council members, staff, and assembled citizens. My name is Will Foot, and I am the City of Lincoln's Chief Building Official. And recently, one of our other citizens, Byron Chapman, invited me to an event for a nonprofit he's a part of. It's called A Touch of Understanding, and I wanted to share my experience with that with the council today. So they're a volunteer nonprofit. The event they had was at Creekside Elementary here in Lincoln, and they are driven to raise awareness and educate young people about the disabled community, a way that builds empathy, understanding, and respect. One of the things that stood out to me is it's not a lecture-based program, it's genuine experience. They've created an environment where students don't just hear and talk about disabilities, they actively engage with what it might feel like to navigate the world in a different way. One of the most impactful parts of my day was hearing from their speakers. Olivia, in particular, was a young lady who was incredibly brave and inspiring because she was brand new to presenting. I didn't realize that at the time. And I'm sure we can all agree that trying to present to a bunch of fourth graders can be nerve-wracking even on the best of days. She shared her personal story with honesty and confidence, and you can see how much it resonated with the children. Moments like that are powerful because they humanize challenges that most don't understand, and they leave a lasting impression, especially on the minds of our youth. In addition to the speakers, the ATOU set up several interactive stations designed to simulate different disabilities. These ranged from wheelchair navigation to a blind station where kids were blindfolded and they tried to use walking aids to try and navigate a simple circle. It was quite entertaining to witness. Another example was writing while looking into a mirror to simulate some learning disabilities. Activities like that might seem simple, but they're incredibly effective. They create a moment of realization where participants shift from abstract understanding to true, real empathy. What makes this program special is also its volunteers. These people are deeply committed to making a difference, and their passion is evident in every aspect of their program, from the thoughtful design of the activities to the care they show in engaging with the children. For me, it was a real privilege to be invited, and experiences like this remind us how important it is to foster inclusion and awareness early on in our children's development. Organizations like ATOU are not just educating youth, they're helping shape more compassion and inclusive community for all of us. I just wanted to highlight some of the great volunteers we have in our community, and if anybody wants any more information, I'm sure they could reach out to me and I can get you in touch with the right people. Thank you.
Thank you, Will, and thank you, Byron, also for working on that. Absolutely.
Was there anybody else in the audience that would like to make public comment?
Can you hear me? Oh, there it goes.
Candela.
The reason I'm up here today is, last meeting, you guys requested, to check a pay increase. And I know that the $6.55 that you get isn't a lot, but I went on the online site, and it may be a little bit wrong or not, to check what the other towns made. And towns that were similar to ours, that don't have a Costco, that don't have a supermarket of Walmart, that one that we could have had, but we don't, a Sam's, anything, a restaurant that stays open later besides the one Mexican restaurant that we have. And me being that I eat, that's what I eat at home, it gets boring. So what do? When I first was younger, my whole thing was, oh, we get to go to Roseville because we get to go get Subway, or we get to go to KFC, and then we come back to our small, quiet town. And a lot of people would say, why would you live in Lincoln? I go, because there's no traffic, which we have now. It's a small town, everybody knows everybody. It's getting harder to know everybody now. It was peaceful. You could hear the cows from a distance. It was peaceful. Now, all you hear is traffic, 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 traffic. And we still have to go to Roseville to do all the things we can't do here. So the increase of homes have increased, but nothing else. Just building homes and homes and homes. But yet you want the taxes when we all go to Roseville. We don't shop here. We're not gonna get clothes here. So everyone goes to Roseville, to the mall. Yuba City, 600. They have a population of 70,000. They have an airport too. Rancho Cordova, 500. They have a population of 85,000. Folsom is the one that went up to 1,900, and that was last year. Yet it was a 3-2 vote, and one member said wouldn't take it. Roseville, as you know, started this whole thing of wanting to get more money. It's gonna go on a vote, but you guys are gonna be voting for your own increase because Stockton now is doing the same thing. They want a big raise too. Rockland, 685, 82,000 people. But the thing is, we don't have what they have. So it doesn't make sense to increase something when you don't have what they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Darla.
Was there anyone else in the audience? Kevin?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Siddle, Kevin Siddle. I was at the planning commission last week and, they authorized or they rubber stamped a liquor store 300 yards from an elementary school. I don't see the reasoning behind that. And they also rubber stamped, another gas station right across the street and another Starbucks. That'll be, by my count, 6 Starbucks within the perimeter of Lincoln, plus Dutch Brothers, plus all of the independents. So I don't understand how that is a viable option. There should be some other action rather than another Starbucks. Because where I live, within a 2-mile radius, there are 6. With this one, there'll be 6 Starbucks. So I don't understand how that is a responsible growth. And a liquor store 300 yards from an elementary or middle school, I don't see how that's responsible growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Let me just make a comment on that. Appreciate it. The planning commission has to operate within the parameters of, does it fall within the general plan and within the specific plans and building codes and guidelines? So business makes the decisions to come or not to come here. The city can make it more conducive. We can streamline applications. We can make them want to come here. But we can't make them come here. We can help them to be successful here. But it's their money. They're putting it in. It's just like if we have 4 Quick Quacks, is it going to work? I have no idea. But it's their money. And as long as they are playing by the rules, then we have to be responsible partners with them in that.
Well, and that hence my question. I mean, how many Starbucks do we need within a 3-mile perimeter?
Thank you, Kevin, but that's called free enterprise.
Can I ask a quick
Yes, please.
question, just a clarification? Kevin, are you talking about a convenience store and a gas station that has liquor, or are you talking about an actual liquor store?
I'm
I-
talking about the Chevron station that is at First and Joyner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they applied for.
They applied for a permit. I talked with the owner on that. His motivation was because the planning commission was gonna put the, was Circle K and the Starbucks directly across the street from him. So he put in for that liquor license as a I don't know, preventative.
To be in the gas
but
station
it-
store, right?
Beg your pardon?
Not a standalone liquor store, but alcohol to be sold in the gas station convenience
In
store.
in
Convenience store.
the convenience
Okay.
store.
I just want to clarify. Thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
his motivation was because the planning commission was gonna put another gas station directly across the street from
Okay.
him with
I-
a Starbucks.
I got it. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Was
Okay.
there anyone else in the audience? Seeing none, I will move over to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to provide a public comment? Fran, you are now unmuted. Please provide your public comment.
Oh, hi, this is Fran Nevis. I live in 12 Bridges. I've been in Lincoln 22 and a half years. And I just want to tell you that those stop signs are on 193 with a lot of, stop ahead, be prepared to stop, work zone, 25 mile per hour. There's probably 8 signs warning you that there's stop signs there. And I want to thank you for that, Sean and everybody. And, tell you people are stopping. Every once in a while, somebody zooms through. I honked at some woman the other day because she just ran through. But the other thing that's interesting is where the K rails are. They've torn up all the pavement, all the road that they put in before, even going into the Esplanade. They've torn it all up and redoing it all. So I mentioned that. And then listening to all the previous speakers, wow, is that interesting? And I'm really glad to hear about A Touch of Understanding. I too went and visited when they were at First Street School a few years ago. It might have even been before COVID, I don't know. But it's really impressive. So I'm glad that Mr. Foote gave that presentation. And I don't see anything wrong with putting up bat houses around either. Bats do need to eat mosquitoes, and we do have them. And about the e-bike thing, I had a friend in Lincoln Hills parked in Lincoln Hills, and an e-bike hit the passenger side of the car. It was $10,000 worth of damage. A 17-year-old, the parents, they were very nice, but they didn't want to report it to their insurance. But the people whose car was hit were, had to use a loaner for a long time. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity to thank you for the stop signs, and they're doing landscaping and they're starting to paint the strips on the rest of the Oak Tree Lane where it's dark in front of the church, where there's little ditches on the side. But now at least we're getting some painting strips there. So I guess that's why I called in, just to thank you.
Thank you for thanking us, Fran. Vin, do we have any updates on that, Vin?
Well,
Sure, briefly. Last Monday, Taylor Morrison and their contractor, Tykert, was able to implement the always stop. One of the most important things we had to do before we implement the three-way stop was to close off one of the inbound lanes into the city, because traffic was coming in at such a high rate of speed. Once they got that done the previous Friday, they were able to get that all done on a Monday just in front of the rains that came. Just a heads up, in about a month and a half or so, the contractor is going to flip traffic after they pave the north side of McBean. Traffic will be diverted to the north side while they work on the south side. There's still quite a bit of work remaining with storm drain and wet utility undergrounding with water mains that need to be installed. So we still have quite a few months worth of work. Estimated time of completion is going to be sometime in the fall. We're thinking sometime in September, hopefully we'll have the signal fully functioning. And then Century and Hidden Hills is doing some striping work on the south end of Oak Tree Lane. That's probably what Fran is referring to. So that's the latest.
All right. Thank you, Vin, very much. Claire, do we have anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, there are no additional speakers.
Okay, very good. That's good. So we'll close public comment. Consent calendar. Would any of my colleagues like to pull anything off the consent calendar today? Okay, staff? Okay, very good. Public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker cards on the consent calendar?
I do not have any speaker cards on the consent calendar. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak about anything on consent? Seeing none, I will move over to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to provide public comment on consent items? I see no hands raised.
Okay, very good. Any comments back from my colleagues on this? And if not, can I get a motion?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Very good. Moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, public hearings. 14A Stardust 12 project presented by Michaela Noble.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Michaela Noble, Associate Planner with the Community Development Department. Our environmental consultant, Adrienne Graham, is also here and she'll be assisting me with the presentation tonight. The project we have before you is the Stardust 12 project. The presentation is a summary of the project. More detailed information was provided and included in the staff report. Tonight, we'll discuss the following items pertaining to the Stardust 12 project. Requested entitlements, project components, staff findings, environmental determination, and recommendations. The applicant, Gen California 28 LLC, is requesting approval of the revisions to the Village 1 specific plan to redesignate and rezone the project site, amendments to the Village 1 general development plan, approval of a small lot tentative subdivision map, and certification of an addendum to the Village 1 specific plan environmental impact report. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 18th and adopted resolutions recommending that City Council approve all entitlements related to the Stardust 12 project. The proposed project consists of approximately 12.8 acres within the Village 1 plan area. The project site is located at the northeast corner of Village 1, immediately west of Stardust Lane and city limits, and south of McBean Park Drive. Other approved Village 1 projects include Esplanade at Turkey Creek, Auburn Ravine Estates, Turkey Creek Estates, the Waterfront, Hidden Hills, Heartland at Hidden Hills, Stardust, Level Ranch, and Parkwood, which Parkwood is being developed by the same applicant as tonight. You notice that the map's kind of getting fuller. Here's the proposed small lot tentative subdivision map for the Stardust 12 project. The map features 84 residential lots, 2 open space lots, a utility and pedestrian access corridor, and an emergency vehicle access lot. All of the residential units would be Village medium density residential single-family homes. These lots would range from approximately 3,200 to 8,900 square feet in size, with an average lot size of approximately 4,000 square feet. Larger lots are located along the eastern project boundary adjacent to the county. The project satisfies the city's minimum lot sizes and typical setback requirements for medium density residential. Access would be provided through a connection to Level Ranch Road, in here, which would connect to McBean Park Drive. Roadway improvements would be provided along the portion of McBean Park Drive that fronts the project site to the north. An EVA would be provided to Stardust Lane, right here. This would be an EVA only and would not allow for regular residential access to and from the site. The proposed project requires an amendment to the specific plan, land use designation, and zoning. As indicated in the table, the project site is currently zoned as Village Country Estates, Village Low Density Residential, and Village Open Space. The project proposes to redesignate and rezone the land that are designated Country Estates and Low Density Residential, resulting in a total of 11 acres of medium density residential, and no acres of Country Estates or Low Density Residential. The open space acreage will remain unchanged. The rezone exhibit is illustrated above. As shown on the left, right here, The western portion of the project site is zoned as low-density residential, and the eastern portion of the site is zoned as country estates. The country estates designation is meant to provide a transition or a buffer between the Village 1 area and the rural area in the county. This is particularly important where there are active livestock operations and/or intensive agriculture such as row crops. Neither of these types of agriculture, which can result in a bunch of nuisance complaints, occur adjacent to the project site at this time. The applicant has proposed several measures to retain some of the components of the country estate zoning to maintain that buffer with the county. First of all, the lots would be larger, both wider and deeper, along the eastern boundary and greatly exceed the minimum requirements for medium-density residential. This will provide greater flexibility in siting housing and other improvements away from the rural areas. Also, this results in a relatively few lots along the eastern boundary. It's roughly about 6 lots, which is similar to the recently approved Stardust project, which is located immediately south of this project site. In addition, these lots are subject to greater setback requirements as outlined in the project's conditions of approval. Mitigation from the EIR also requires that all homeowners adjacent to the county be provided with a copy of the county's right to farm ordinance. These conditions and measures should minimize any potential conflicts with adjacent agricultural activities. In addition, the applicant is developing the recently approved Parkwood project, as I mentioned earlier, which was approved for 42 fewer units than what was assumed in the specific plan and the environmental impact report. The applicant is proposing to apply 36 of those 42 unused units from the Parkwood project to the Stardust 12 project. Consequently, there would not be a change in the total number of units allowed within the Village 1 plan area. In summary, the proposed project requires a rezone from country estates and low-density residential to medium-density residential to facilitate the provision of 84 units. As previously mentioned, the 36 remainder units from the Parkwood project would be reallocated to the Stardust 12 project. In addition, the project includes 1.8 acres of open space, an EVA, pedestrian access to the Village 1 trail system, and typical frontage improvements. Staff analyzed the proposed entitlement requests and concluded that they are consistent with the goals, policies, and intent of the city's general plan, the adopted Village 1 specific plan and general development plan, and the city's subdivision ordinance. With the proposed amendments to the specific plan and GDP, the project would be consistent with the specific texts of these documents. City staff has prepared conditions of approval for the project to ensure orderly and timely implementation of the project. Standard and project-specific conditions have been applied. The conditions of approval also include all applicable mitigation measures from the Village 1 specific plan EIR as modified within the addendum. All conditions will be subject to verification of compliance by city departments. The applicant has reviewed and agreed to all of the conditions of approval. I'm going to welcome Adrian Graham.
Evening, Adrian Graham, environmental and planning consultant, and I prepared the environmental documentation for the project. We were able to prepare an addendum, which is a document that that evaluates the extent to which changes to the project could affect the environmental impacts that were identified in the original EIR for Village 1. The Stardust 12 project site was expected to be developed. When Michaela showed you the 2 zoning exhibits, you would see that while the zoning changed, the area of disturbance did not. So any impacts associated with the area of disturbance would be the same as those that we anticipated previously. Michaela also explained that there would be a change in zoning that would increase the density on the site. However, it would not affect the total number of units developed within the Village 1 specific plan area. And in fact, another property owned by the same applicant developed fewer units or included in their map fewer units than we anticipated, so that there's no net increase between those 2 parcels. So for these reasons, we concluded that there would not be an increase in any of the impacts that were previously identified. There'd be no new significant impacts, and an addendum was determined to be the appropriate CEQA document.
With that, staff and the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council adopt a resolution adopting the proposed addendum to the certified 2012 Village One Specific Plan Environmental Impact Report, adopt a resolution amending the Village One Specific Plan designation and zoning for the project site, consider waiving first reading and adopt by title only an ordinance to amend the Village One General Development Plan, and adopt a resolution approving the small lot tentative subdivision map for the Stardust 12 project. I do have one point of clarification on the conditions of approval for attachment 6, which is the specific plan amendment resolution, and attachment 7 of the general development plan ordinance. That was provided in your agenda tonight, that first condition of approval on Exhibit A for both of these should specify that the project will be subject to the modified mitigation measure language found within the addendum. So for any motions tonight, if you could include that text change, that would be greatly appreciated. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening. In the meantime, we haven't received any formal public comments for the project. Adrian Graham is here, obviously, to answer any environmental questions. And we do have members of the applicant team here as well who represent the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela. Okay, questions from my colleagues? Okay. Claire?
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment?
Mr. Mayor, if you could open the
I'm
public
sorry.
hearing, sir.
I'm sorry. We'll open the public comment, public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm Clifton Taylor with Taylor Builders, representing Gin California 28. Appreciate all the work that went into this with staff, and continued support of our investment in the city of Lincoln. We've obviously done a number of projects here. We're proud to be partnered with the city on a lot of different things. And so I'm happy to address any questions, and sorry about my voice. I was at the dentist this morning and it's been a rough day.
We feel your pain, Clifton.
Was there anyone else that wanted to make public comment? I see none. I will move to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to provide public comment for this item? I see no hands raised.
Okay, very good. Bring it back to council. Okay. Waiting. I'm just waiting. Okay, okay. We're closing the public hearing. Okay. Okay, so I need a motion, and it has to include with the amendments as discussed. So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michaela. Okay, moving on to 14B, West Lincoln Square Commercial Project, presented by Associate Planner Thomas Cruikshank.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. I'm Thomas Cruikshank, Associate Planner with the Community Development Department. The project before you tonight is the West Lincoln Square Commercial Project. Tonight, I will review the project location, requests and entitlements, findings and environmental determination, staff recommendations. This presentation is a summary of the project. More detailed project information is available and outlined in the staff report provided. Lastly, as of this meeting, we have not received any additional public comments beyond the Planning Commission. Project site is located in the northwestern portion of the city of Lincoln, within the Special Use District B specific plan and general plan area. Specifically, this application is for a 40-acre commercially zoned parcel at the northeast corner of Highway 65 and Nelson Lane. You can see here outlined in red. The application proposes 15 commercial buildings of varying size and use and totaling approximately 245,000 square feet of development. The requested entitlements for this project are a zone text amendment to the SUD-B General Development Plan, a tentative parcel map amending a commercial portion of the approved Piri Arlaga large lot tentative subdivision map, On March 18th, 2026, the Planning Commission held a public hearing for the West Lincoln Square commercial project. After discussion with staff and the applicant, the commission voted 6-0, adopting resolutions recommending the city council approve the West Lincoln Square zone text amendment and tentative parcel map. The first entitlement request for the zone text amendment includes changing the automobile service station use from not permitted to allowed only with a conditional use permit. The second entitlement request is an amendment to the commercial portion of the Piri Arlaga large lot tentative subdivision map. The approved commercial portion of the map contains 7 commercial lots, 3 landscape and open space lots. The amendment to the commercial portion of the map proposes 15 commercial parcels, 7 landscape, infrastructure, and drainage parcels. The right-of-way dedication for Oak Brook Drive, selected adopted conditions of approval, and other features of the approved large lot map would remain in effect. Oak Brook Drive, which borders the north side of the site, is not a part of the project and will be constructed separately from the West Lincoln Square commercial project. The West Lincoln Square commercial project has been found to be consistent with the City of Lincoln General Plan, the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan, SUDB Specific Plan and General Development Plan, Lincoln Municipal Code Title 17 Subdivisions and Title 18 Zoning. Pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, an addendum to the SUDB Specific Plan Certified Environmental Impact Report was prepared as part of the project's evaluation. The project site had previously undergone environmental review for commercial development, and the current analysis has determined that the West Lincoln Square commercial project will not result in any new or substantially more severe environmental impacts than those previously identified. Staff recommends that City Council conduct a public hearing, consider the information contained in the staff report, testimony of the public, and take the following actions. Adopt a resolution determining the addendum satisfies CEQA, introduce an ordinance approving a zone text amendment, and adopt a resolution approving the amended tentative parcel map. There was an error noticed, typographical error that was noticed in the tentative parcel map resolution. Section 3 should state that the tentative parcel map is subject to approval of the City Council. It mistakenly said Planning Commission. And Section 4 should say the City Council hereby approves the tentative parcel map substantially in the form on file with Community Development Director, subject to the attached exhibits. These changes will be corrected in the final hard copies before filing with the City Clerk. This concludes my presentation. Members of the applicant team and staff are here to answer questions.
Thank you very much. Questions from my colleagues? Ms. Andriana.
Thought John had a question. Okay, so sorry if I missed this, trying to follow along. What is different than what was before? Is it more residential, less commercial, or is it the same commercial? I'm trying to follow along. What's changed?
So the original map was a large lot tentative parcel map. So that was done when the SUDB large lot map was created. So they created the large lots for the commercial parcels and the phase 1 and phase 2 housing. The housing has since had a small lot map come in.
Gotcha.
So a commercial portion needs an amended tentative parcel map. And so that's why they're amending just this portion of the map. And that requires Planning Commission and City Council approval. So it's essentially similar to like a small lot map coming in that divides the parcels out that they can actually be developed.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. John?
Can you go back to the slide and tell me the two, you said one part's this and one part's in the future. Can you highlight that again? Maybe it's the phases, I'm referring to. Yeah.
You mean for the map here?
Yeah.
So this shows the existing large lot and the area here that's being amended is here. And you could see to the right, that's the small lot housing. So basically we're reviewing the portion of the map here that will be amended is in this box.
Yeah, and a couple slides down, where I think you were showing the commercial lot. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
So which of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks are this and what are coming in the future?
This is all of the new proposed development, just the commercial portion of the map. So this,
Okay.
this is essentially the map that you're reviewing tonight, all of these lots here. The ones on the other page just show like a context. So these are all individual lots. There'll be one building per pad. And then there's roadways and easements and dedications along with the map.
Okay, so it's all one thing.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the whole map here that you're
It's
seeing.
something about coming in the future, and that's what threw me off. But are you talking about north? That was
Yes,
shaded?
sorry,
Okay.
sorry, yes, you're correct. The Oak Brook Drive, you'll see that it exists as a lot on here. That is dedicated as part of the requirements for developing this and the Phase 2 housing. Dedications of this roadway are required from this property owner and the property owner to the north. So they share the burden of building out that road.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Ben? Okay, good. Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker cards?
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment?
Rather than, Kevin Siddle, rather than putting the Starbucks 1,000 yards from my home, why don't we put it in this development?
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other comment? Thank you, Kevin.
Was there anyone else in the audience that would like to provide public comment? Seeing none, I will move over to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to provide public comment? I see no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, good. We'll close the public hearing over here. Any comments, final comments from my colleagues?
No, I'm good, thank
Okay,
you.
very good. Okay, that's very good. In that case, I'll accept the motion, which, and including the amendment, which will be included into the final resolution.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. Thank you very much, Mr. Kirkland. Appreciate that. Very good. Over here. 14, Charlie, adopt a resolution approving the pre-annexation proceedings for the raw property and determining that no further environmental analysis is needed under CEQA. Hey, Planning Manager Rommel, there you go, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and the rest of the City Council. Mel Pavlins, Planning Manager. Before you is being recommended by the Planning Commission, which heard this item last month. It's a broad pre-annexation proceedings. The Commission recommended approval of this project. It's a formality for a property that's currently not within the city to be to go before the Commission and then to the City Council for consideration of annexation. So that's what the proceedings process is for. The applicant property owner is Mr. Steve Brar. Property as summarized in your staff report is in the red dash area right there. This context, Highway 65 goes east to west and to the north, of course. Nelson Lane borders the property on the west side. Moore Road is on the south side. Village 5, and you'll see in the next couple of slides here, are in this area right here, but I'll show it more in the next following slides. So the property is about 115 acre in size. There's an almond farm. There's a residence on the property. It's currently unincorporated, as I mentioned, within the city, within the county of Placer, not within the city. No developments proposed with this application. Again, it's more formality to get approval by the City Council for annexation. This is the Village 5 specific plan. The property again is on the southeast corner of the property of the Village 5 area, Moore Road, Nelson Lane, and Highway 65. So the property is currently, it's under the zoning of the county. I forget what the actual zoning is, but within the specific plan, it has a rural residential zoning designation. Back in 2024, 25, the Village 5 A portion of the specific plan was annexed. However, as part of the annexation, some parts of the Village 5 were not annexed. And that includes Island A, which is called the Rockwell area, and Island B, which is in blue area right here. Mr. Barr's property, again, is in the red dashed line. That wasn't the intent of the city. We tried to annex the whole thing all at once back in 23. With that failed annexation, we followed up with the Village 5A, and that one went through the process. But as a result of that, some parts were islands, or became islands, and therefore only Village 5A, one in the red area right here, is currently within the city. Ideally, again, with the failed effort in the original annexation, we tried to fill up as many of these properties in a comprehensive way and orderly way. But as a result of that, the properties within the islands have to come individually. And of course, Mr. Barr explored that possibility and have submitted his application. And what's before you is his request, is to be annexed into the city. If approved tonight, following with the recommendation from the Plan Commission, more of the Island B could be filled and developed. Barr property would develop consistent with the Village 5 specific plan. It would then realize and promote further various policies in the specific plan. Also meets Placer County LAFCO annexation goals and objectives in annexing in a comprehensive, streamlined way, as opposed to piecemeal. But in this case, we have to work within each property, and ideally, we get all of them. But in this case, we get some parts of it, and we just have to manage that those requests moving forward. Staff recommendation, just basically I'm forwarding Planning Commission recommendation to determine that no further analysis under SEEK was needed. Adopt resolution approving the Barr property annexation proceedings. And with your approval tonight, I would authorize the city manager to move to initiate filing an application with Placer County LAFCO. No comments have been received tonight. The applicant, property owner, Mr. Steve Barr, is here as well, if you have any questions for myself or him. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions from my colleagues?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. And I shared this with Mr. Rohr when I met with him yesterday, that we'll see what LAFCO does, right? But my personal feeling on this is I care about personal property rights. I care about what the owners want to do. And so when that part of Village 5 was being annexed, I cared about the people who didn't want to be annexed. And so we fought for that, and they got their protest vote. And unfortunately, he got caught up in that and didn't get the annexing. But for the rest of the people, they got what they wanted, and then I was supportive. So now he's coming in. And so for me personally, I don't care about islands. I couldn't care less. I know LAFCO doesn't like islands. I know they have like their feelings about that, and there's different reasons. But for me, I don't care. I want what the property owners want to do, like within reason, right? Like he owns it, he wants to develop it. And so I'm very supportive of approving that. And I just think it's important that when we have the opportunity to uphold personal property rights and local control, that we do it. And so that's just how I feel about it, but I'm supportive, so.
Agreed. And this is also going to shrink the island by 15%. Yeah, which is good, my view. Okay. Okay. In that case, we will open the public hearing.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to provide public comment on this item? Seeing none, I will move to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to provide public comment? I see no hands raised.
Thank you very much. Close the public hearing over here. Bring it back to the council. Ben.
So the comment that I had was, the only thing that really made this parcel an island was the fact that the water treatment plant that we have. If we didn't have the water treatment plant to the south, it would not be an island anyway. So in that context, I'm supportive. I just figured I'd make that comment. Really not an island.
Okay, good. Great.
I agree with Councilmember Andreatta. It's definitely our preference to give property owners what they desire for their property before they develop it and for development purposes. I don't look at this quite the same with like pro or not pro island. It kind of fits into both, where it created an island with him not being in it, and it's bringing it part of the whole. So it's kind of fixing that problem, but it's the opposite of what I think LAFCO, their goal is to not create islands with development as well. So if that makes any sense, I think this is being, this is leaning into the opposite. I think LAFCO would like everything to be more congruent. This will be congruent. But then it's not black and white either, or this is kind of a gray thing that was unfortunate, and I'm glad that we can correct it now.
Else? Okay. In that case, I'll ask for a motion on this over here, and there were no amendments this time,
Right,
so
yeah.
we're good.
I move approval of 14C.
Second?
Ben? Okay.
Second.
Okay, very good. First and second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Passed 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay. 15A, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to unencumber funds from CIP 2512, auto car EV garbage collection vehicles, and reallocate for procurement of a Timeco 500X street sweeper and Chevrolet Silverado EV. I assume, Mr. Manager, or is
We are going to go to Aaron Hookins, who is one of our managers of Public Works and oversees wastewater and fleet.
Good evening, council and mayor. My name is Aaron Hookins. I am a maintenance service manager for our fleet and wastewater collections departments. Tonight I'm speaking to you as a fleet manager for the procurement of one Timco 500X street sweeper and a Chevy Silverado EV. Presentation overview, our background, which includes California Air Resource Board Advanced Clean Fleet Program, fleet planning, sweeping program, Timco sweeper, staff recommendations, and questions. Our background is the Advanced Clean Fleet Regulations reminder with changes. The Advanced Clean Fleet Regulation requires state and local government fleets to ensure 50% of the medium and heavy-duty vehicle purchases are zero emissions starting in January 1st, 2024, and 100% by January 1st, 2030. 100% zero emission fleet transition for refuse trucks is 2040, an entire fleet by 2042. You will notice the change from 2027 to 2030 from the original 100% compliance. The original 100% compliance order that was changed in October of 25.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is that what you want us to see, or is there a chart we're supposed to be seeing?
Right there.
Okay, thank you.
Fleet planning. As you know, we encumbered $900,000 for the EV garbage truck, and with some available feedback from other agencies since our presentation last year regarding the EV garbage truck, indicate that the technology remains in a relatively early stage of development, with reported maintenance and reliability concerns exceeding those associated with conventional diesel-powered vehicles. Most importantly, the change in the ACF from 2027 to 2030 for the 100% mandate has helped our decision to change our direction. We would like to replace the EV garbage truck with a new Timco 500X sweeper. Why now? We have 3 sweepers in our fleet. We have a 23-year-old 2003 Timco 600 that is basically used for emergencies only. We have a 2016 Timco 600 that has been overused and is frequently out of service and creates an operational and maintenance burden on staff and budget. Our newest sweeper is a 500X model from 2024, and it is a great machine for efficiency that we are really riding right now as our main piece of equipment. Replacement of the 2 currently ensures continuity of service, improves operational efficiency, and reduces long-term maintenance costs. Newer equipment also provides enhanced safety features and improves fuel efficiency. What is the need? End-of-the-life asset replacement, escalating maintenance and repair costs, increased downtime impacting operations, parts being available and obsolete, and safety and risk management. Street sweeping is a critical service that supports roadway preservation, public safety, and environmental compliance. Regular removal of debris prevents blockage of storm drain systems, reduces localized flooding risk, and limits pollutants from entering waterways. Maintaining this service is also necessary to meet state and federal stormwater quality requirements. What is the benefit? The benefits are improved efficiency and coverage, lower maintenance and downtime, better environmental compliance, fuel efficiency and emissions reductions, safety improvements and labor savings, and public perception and service quality. Our sweeping program. Our sweeping consists of 5 days a week, all day, and it is our goal to have the city swept every 2 months. This schedule is very aggressive and demanding on one sweeper. This will cause one good unit to get overused very quickly. So next here we have the Timco 500. It's a high dump street sweeper with some of its features. All the new features of the 500 model make this a far better machine than our old 600 models. The most important feature being the hopper and chute. It is probably the most efficient design for this truck for our city. This enables us to dump our debris tank wherever we want in a trash enclosure instead of having to run out to the landfill every time we have to dump it, which causes us to, with long delays, causes us to a lot less sweeping to get done. So this model, it basically has a scissor bed on it. It lifts up and it'll dump into a higher garbage tank. The next picture is our Chevy Silverado. We must purchase this internal combustion when we buy an internal combustion engine like the sweeper, we have to get an EV that matches it with a weight rating of 8,500 pounds. With the loss of Ford Lightnings no longer available to us, Chevy Silverados are our next option. Staff recommendations. Defer the purchase of an electric residential refuse collection truck and unencumber the $900,000. Augment the fiscal year 25-26 budget by $540,000, which involves executing a purchase order in the amount of $450,000 for the procurement of the Timco 500 sweeper and $70,000 for the procurement of one Chevy Silverado. Are there any questions for me?
Thank you very much. I had one question. By deferring the purchase of the refuse truck, are we losing any capability?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not. The reason we wanted to get that was because of the timeline, 2027, where we had to go 100%. They gave us an offer that with a big discount, so it was like, let's just get it now. Well, after they pushed it back to 2030, gave us a little more room to operate, and we found that there is a lot of issues with them right now, and we're hoping the technology gets better.
Good, thank you.
Aaron, could you run that numbers for me again? Are we, so the garbage truck was going to be
It's
900,000.
gonna be 900,000.
The sweeper is 450
Yes.
and the
The
truck
Chevy
is 70, so
Silverado is
we're
70,
we're
so
spending.
it's 540. yeah.
Okay, great. Although I don't know if I can approve a Chevy. Like I just, I'm,
Well,
yeah,
there's Rivian.
like-
We have the option of Rivian.
I don't
It's a little more,
know.
it's a little more expensive.
yeah, like,
But I was gonna say it's better than doing a Cybertruck.
well, yeah,
We are, you know, our options are limited right now with
I
the
know.
EVs.
okay, I appreciate that, yeah.
Good.
I don't know if I can do it.
I'm a Ford guy myself.
Yeah.
Come on, bear down. Okay, any other
Good to the
questions?
city.
One for you. It's a little bit of a digression. I understand in the last few weeks, there's been a lot of updates with CARB.
Mhm.
And I don't need to create a whole new conversation on that, but maybe you could highlight some of those and how it may or may or not impact this. But my understanding, some of those times are changing. How does that fit in?
So the last change that's been done that is set in stone right now is that when they pushed it back from 2027 to 2030. Yes, there is constant ongoing talks about changing this, changing that, because they're running into problems. We are in compliance with the state. We just got our certificate. We're in compliance right now, but it's been a battle. And we're looking forward to seeing what they can bring us. in
So
future.
that change you highlighted 27 to 30, and that provides additional flexibility, right?
Yes.
Are there others that are being contemplated that would restrict that? I mean, are all the challenges we know about you outlined, are these other changes additional flexibility, or are there actually some that are going to be more constraining?
There is a list of flexibilities that we're looking into right now, and that has to do with public safety. It has to do with water. It has to do with sewer. It has to do with dual motor engines. It's a lot of stuff that the attorneys are going to have to sit down and help us figure out what we can do.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any other questions? No. Okay, very good. Do we have any public comments?
Would anyone in the audience like to provide public comment? I see a couple of hands.
Whoever can get there first.
Thank you very much.
Talking about street sweeping, Kevin Siddle. And apparently it was put before you to buy a Chevy Silverado. I'm not, I'm unclear on how that pertains to sweeping our streets. So maybe somebody
Yeah, no,
could.
Kevin, totally legit question, because it doesn't pertain to sweeping our streets at all. To put it on a really simple, we can go into this.
Love a $70,000
Yeah, no, let's just make it really clear. I think I can speak for Matt's department that we prefer not to buy that at all. But one of the things the state did when there was the original mandate to move to all electric, which included everyone, portions of that are struck down, so the state can't force an individual, a citizen, to do that. But that doesn't mean that they can't force political subdivisions of the state, i.e. cities, counties, state agencies, et cetera, to follow that rule, which they have held in place. So basically what they've said is, if you're going to purchase, you have to, a certain portion of your fleet that you purchase between now and 2030 needs to be electric in nature. So what they referenced earlier was, we had at one time thought, okay, well, if we have to do this, we better figure out if a garbage truck works. Council took that matter up a year ago, maybe, and Matt's team tested out the EV garbage truck, and suffice to say, it didn't work very well.
Found it one.
And so we backed off of that. And so basically the way that we've chosen to try to address the requirement is, we can purchase a large ton vehicle like this street sweeper, but in order to do so, the trade is that you also have to purchase a EV that you put into your fleet. So what'll happen is this EV will go into the public works fleet, it'll go into their water or sewer or streets. And instead of their normal half-ton pickup that they drive, typically one of them will drive this instead. Yeah, it's not a we want to do, it's a we shall do. That was kind of a crude explanation, but did I miss something, Matt?
Yeah, Kevin, you're looking for logic where there's no logic.
So I'll just provide a little additional context. The California Air Resources Board adopted the Advanced Clean Fleet, which started in January of 2024. And it required that public agencies procure 50% of all medium and heavy duty vehicles be zero emission. So originally that was going to convert to 100% purchase requirement in 2027. The state and California Air Resources Board effectively announced that they were going to defer the 100% medium and heavy duty fleet zero emission requirement until 2030. There's continuing developments as well as, federal pressure to kind of provide some relief in the emissions regulatory environment. But how the city has navigated compliance with very limited options in medium and heavy duty vehicle fleet procurement options, we've elected to procure medium duty trucks and replace our internal combustion engine trucks. So we're effectively converting our medium duty fleet to obtain compliance, and our fleet's large enough to where we've been able to absorb that for now. Whether we're going to continue to be able to absorb that is to be determined. But as far as utility trucks and many of these vehicles, there really aren't available options. There's only kind of prototype vehicles available. And last September, I brought the electric vehicle for the garbage truck to council. I got peppered with questions. I was asked, who vouches for this in the industry? And we did some research, and we found one large solid waste company that had procured the trucks, and they said that if they had the choice, they'd probably not elect to do that if they were a small agency. So we dropped it, and we're back tonight, pivoting and trying to address another significant community need. And I'll just take this opportunity, as I usually do. We actually have a sweeping map. If you go to the Public Works Street page, we actually have a map online that shows where you live, when you will be swept. So we've actually improved that quite substantially. Angela Frost and Mark Foster on the solid waste team have worked with our GIS department to develop that map. So we're transparent. We're letting you know when we're going to be in your area, and we're looking to continue to improve street sweeping for the community.
Thank you. Very, very good. I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, those here as well as viewing at home. First thing, whenever I get a hold of a vehicle or I'm purchasing one, the one thing I want to know more than anything else other than the price is what kind of warranty do I get for this vehicle? Is it 50,000, 100,000 or what? So that one question is how long that will be for these particular types of equipment, and the fact that batteries now for a number of years, we're slowly, well, maybe not slowly anymore, we're getting to the point where there's been enough electric vehicles out there where batteries are now at that realm of having to swap them out. So what I'm looking at too is, my other question is, what kind of warranty do they have on these batteries? I know that there's certain vehicles that I was looking at, and A lot of the residential ones that I was looking at, they were like 110,000, miles on the vehicle. Some were a little bit less, but that seems to be the zeroing number. Then my other question simply was, once this is, if so approved, then how are we set up in the budget in order for between now and 2027? So if there's anything in the hopper that we know that we're going to have to get, where are we with that, minus the prices for these? So thank you.
Thank you, Byron. Matt, do we have answers on that?
Yes, I do. Let's see. The vehicle warranty is 3 years, 36,000 miles, and I believe the battery is 60,000 miles. But I'd have to confirm that.
That
As
seems
far,
pretty low.
yeah, I'll have to report back on that as far as their manufacturer warranty on the battery.
The Chevy.
Matt, this is
But
part of the,
if
this is
I-
part of the lease program, yeah?
This particular purchase
Oh, this is a
is
purchase?
not on the lease, because there is cost associated with leasing. And because we had sufficient funding in this particular fund, we elected to save those leasing costs and procure, we're gonna buy it outright. But I will report back, I'll do some research on that battery warranty. As far as our overall budget, we did have a 2-year plan. And we also did a utility rate study for the solid waste department that took into account future fleet purchases. So we've been planning ahead. We are below that initial target. And obviously with this change, we're saving the city several $100,000 on this procurement and deferral of the EV garbage truck.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any other questions?
I just wanted to make another comment that, first of all, I'm actually, I don't want to say proud of us, but when we did the garbage truck trial run, I mean, I remember that it was easier to ride in and that sort of thing, but the weight of it on our roads and all the other things, I'm actually very proud of us that we didn't just jump to it because, the state says we have to buy it and we spend $1 million on it, even though there was pressure because we did get a discount if we bought it right then, but we didn't do that. And I'm really happy that we took the time to really investigate and then decide that, we don't need to do that. And to Kevin's point and your point about the state, that's one of the things that I think we do have to be compliant on a lot of things, and the state has passed down a lot of unfunded mandates, but I also think that we don't need to be so quick to jump to everything that they say and take a little bit of time and push back a little bit. So I am very proud of us for that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that I appreciate the diligence of the street sweeping. I appreciate that the hard work that our team does to keep our city clean and the streets clear and safe. And so, I mean, this new truck looks pretty cool. And so we do need another one, and I'm supportive. And I'll vote.
How about the Silverado?
I'll
Does that
vote for the
look
Chevy.
pretty
I'll
good?
vote for the Chevy, yeah.
I would like to interject with an update. Then the city engineer helped me out and did a solid, and he looked up the Silverado EV, and it is 8 years, 100,000 miles for the battery. And then I looked at
makes a lot more sense.
and then for the Ford fans out there, I did look up that one, and it's the same, 8 years, 100,000 miles.
That makes more sense. Okay.
Thanks, Vin.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, very good. Any other comments? All right, good. I'll accept the motion.
I'll move approval.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll move.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All Opposed? Carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Aaron, for the presentation.
Thanks, Aaron. Okay, item 15B, adopt a resolution awarding the contract for professional auditing services to Munn CPAs LLP and authorizing the city manager or designee to enter into an agreement for services. Ms. Racker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening. So this is the result of the city performing an RP for auditing services. After our last audit was complete, the current contract that we had was finished, and while we'd had that firm for a number of years, we decided to do the prudent method of continuing and going out for an RFP. We received 7 responses, which for governmental audit firms, it's very competitive to get a response these days. In fact, I had a bet with our audit manager. He said we were going to get 3, and I said we were going to get 7. So we reviewed all of the proposals. They were all found responsive. They were reviewed by a team of finance staff as well as our elected treasurer. They were all ranked independently. The rankings were then, at least for me, and I know for our treasurer as well, I used an AI tool to also rank the proposals because I wanted to remove any personal bias as a result of having our previous firm, MUN, participate in the RFP, and the rankings that AI came back were the same as mine, so I was very pleased with that. And so we have elected to go with them as the highest scoring firm. They are not the cheapest, but when you are conducting an annual audit, you get what you pay for. And so we felt that their service had been exemplary over the term of the agreement. They do have a rotation program in place for the managing partner as required under Sarbanes-Oxley. There's not a requirement that you switch firms every number of years, but it is, again, a good prudent practice to determine that you're getting the best service available. So with that, we're asking that you award the RFP for auditing services to MUN CPAs and authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement for a 5-year term.
Thank you very much. Comments from my colleagues? Whitney?
Yeah, I appreciate that we're switching it up every couple of years. I agree with you. And I also agree that you pay for what you get, even when you're talking about city finances.
Thank you. Yeah, I was a little bit skeptical originally because we have had them in the past, even though we received great service. But going through the vetting program of the number of people that reviewed it and scored it independently and then verified it with, through AI, which is very nice. That's not going to be the determinant, but at least it was supportive of that and it indicated that, yes, these are very good quality people. We've had some really good results from them, and so I'd be supportive of it. Honor Ben? Thumbs up? Okay. All right, good. Okay, in that case, Blair?
Was there anyone in the audience who would like to provide public comment? Seeing none, I will go to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to provide public comment? I see no hands raised.
No one wants to comment on this exciting contract over here? I'm shocked, just shocked. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll move to adopt resolution awarding contract. to
Thank you, Mr.
professional
Brown.
services.
Second? Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Very good. City manager reports.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have 4 quick reports tonight. I'm just pulling up one thing to share. So first off, I just want to take a minute, if you'll indulge me. Sometimes in these meetings, you make a decision that appears to be routine and is sort of obscured by the land use process, and we don't take a beat to just sort of say what just happened. When you just approved the West Lincoln Square commercial project, what you did without knowing was you approved probably the most consequential commercial development in Lincoln's history, at least the beginnings of what will become that. To put it into perspective for you, the square footage of the project that was just approved would be the equivalent roughly of both Home Depot and Target combined in size, not including the small tenants along the periphery of the project. Also not including, this amount accounts for basically, call it 250 to 350,000 square feet of anticipated 4.5 million square feet that's planned on the 4 corners of that intersection. So this is the first of many more. And I just think it's super important because, as we heard earlier a few different times, there's services that lack in Lincoln. There are places that we can't go to acquire goods that we need to. So setting aside taxation and development money and all of that, I just think it's super important because what just happened took 25 years to come to fruition. And you just sail through it and don't think a little bit about it. So thank you for allowing. And as the kids would say, there is no cap in that statement, which means no lie. I was challenged to use that term during this presentation, so there you go. Yeah, cap. The other thing, two other things I want to mention, partially as a result of last meeting, city attorney and I met with Byron Chapman yesterday for 2 hours. I had a really pleasant discussion, talked a lot about his nonprofit. We talked a lot about his history here, and then got into more detail about some ADA improvements that still are on the books for us to complete. They're particularly important. And I'll go into some more detail another time on those, but we do have one that I think is already in contract and should be completed in the next week or two at the community center. And there are two more at a park that I actually wasn't aware of that he helped identify a few solutions for. So just wanted to thank him for that. It gave us a really nice opportunity after a good long period to kind of reset and kind of figure out where we're at with some of these things, and hope to just appreciate him giving that much time to us. And then item number 3 is that really exciting news that we've wanted to share for a long time. We were kind of under this weird embargo, but we did put out a press release if you haven't seen it. But Aaron and Daniela from Economic Development took the lead and applied for a couple different awards for some work that we've done over the years here. And the city was notified a little while back that we have won an award from the California Association of Local Economic Development, which is a statewide organization. This is a statewide award. It's called the Award of Merit for Collaboration in Real Estate and Finance for a first of its kind 3-party school facilities agreement in Village 7. We all know about that project. We've talked about it a number of times. And separately, we also were awarded the Competitiveness Award by the Greater Sacramento Economic Development Council. And I believe, I don't think I'm wrong about this, we're the only public agency to win an award this year. All of the other awardees are private entities that have done exciting things. So, and that is for the project, ironically, that you just were part of, which is the Lincoln Commercial Corridor, which encompasses Village 5 and the project that was approved this evening. So kind of timely and super excited, and a huge thank you to those two, because we spend a lot of time doing actual work, so we don't spend much time parading it around or applying for awards. But it's important, because once you're done, you move on to the next thing, and we don't get a chance to talk about it. And finally, just for the community's benefit, if you get a chance, because we didn't have a ton of attendance at the workshop, but we did a workshop last week on open space with the city council, had a really good, robust discussion. I have some great notes of a policy that we're crafting to bring forward. And we spoke about that a little bit with the BIA at our monthly roundtable this morning. They were excited to hear that. And they suggested a good point, which wasn't brought up, I think, during our talk, is that once we're prepared to kind of move that through the approval process, unless council has another idea, we think it's important to run it through Planning Commission as well, because they're the ones that actually end up applying these standards a lot of the time. And so soon, hoping to get that sort of wrapped and into the queue for approvals in May. So you'll be seeing it back here soon. And alternatively, if it's possible when I get really into it that I hit a dead end, I may ask for yet another workshop, but we'll see then. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
In addition to the 2 awards, Sean, there's also the award that you got.
Oh yeah, we've already gone through that.
Yeah, right. Bring it up. You got it up there? Okay, okay. Very good. Okay, thank you.
Sounds on fire.
Yes. Yeah, and when you mentioned the SUD-B, that really is a game changer for for our community. It's really going to put us on a different trajectory. It's going to give us so much additional dollars to, especially in the areas of public safety, to do what the people want us to do and to deliver. And as Sean said, this has been a long time coming. I mean, but I think our time is now. Those of us who have been around the city for a while remember the bad times, and it's so nice to be part of what we're doing now. So many things are falling on our right way, and it's not because it's just happening. It's happening because we're applying the pressure and we're doing the right things with the whole team, and that's why it's working. That's why it's working. Okay, very good. Thank you, Sean. Over here, council initiated business.
Yeah, quick question before I start. We do not have information items on here, so can I just add it to initiated?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right, great. Well, so two things. One is actually business and then one is information. I was supposed to bring this up a while ago and I forgot about it. I had a resident reach out to me over in the Teal Hollow area, and I think she said it was Swallow View, but one of those streets over there, and I'm familiar with it because I live over there. I mean, I live a little farther back now in Lakeside, but I lived right over there for 9 years. And I think it's Swallow View, but there's a street there. It's pretty wide, but there's no stop sign. There's no, like, it's a four-way and it's kind of angled. And it can be kind of dangerous. And so I've had other people over the years ask about that. So I just would like just to mention it to staff. Go out there, drive around a little bit, Teal Hollow area, Swallow View, Lakeside, kind of in that area, and just look at some of those streets. They do present a hazard, and some of the residents there are a little concerned. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then I'm happy to drive over there with you, Matt, and show you what I'm talking about if you want. And then I just wanted to mention that on Saturday was the Rotary Wine Fest, which it looked like they had a great turnout. They sold lots of tickets. And I bring it up because we had talked about the entertainment zone. And so I just wanted to thank staff because we didn't get we didn't get it done. Apparently we have to pass a resolution and all that, and we'll work on that this next year. But staff's work to kind of do it a little bit and have areas and cones and whatever. And so they were very happy with it. It ended up being really great. And so appreciate staff making it work to the best of their ability without having the actual official entertainment zone that we'll work on later. But
There were 1,100 tickets.
Yes, it
sold,
was
which
so
is-
great.
Which is an all-time high. And it was just an amazing event. Everything turned out really well. So
Yep,
was
it
good.
did.
And we
It was-
will work
it was
on
great.
the-
It was a lot of
on the
fun.
entertainment
We'll
zone.
work on that later. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, good. Anything else? Whitney?
Just
Oops,
no,
sorry,
no,
one
for that.
more? Yeah.
We're gonna do comments at the end, or?
No, let's just
committee
do it.
reports
Let's-
next.
So I think that, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I think the error, my bad, it was that when we added that section of information and disclosures, we moved information up to the front of the agenda. So it's fine. Just go for it.
Let's do it. Go on.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
sorry, I was
ask-
a little confused.
Yeah, I was too. I was just gonna ask if we have any updates on the tax sharing renegotiation. I've been asked by many people where we're at with that and what we can potentially anticipate for the start of something
Yep.
official.
Yeah, so we did receive a response from Placer County CEO's office. Not a super lengthy takedown of any proposals we've put, an ask for clarification on a couple of key deal points that we had added in there, which, at least in my view, are pretty easily addressable and explainable. And so I've got a Word document actually open on my desktop right now that I've been punching through to get that back to him. And I had committed that it would be early this week, and tomorrow's Wednesday, so it'll be mid this week. It'll be back to him.
Okay.
And then thereafter, in terms of their process, I don't know, but what I can tell you is that at this point, aside from a little bit of additive data that has been requested, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot more analysis that we can really provide at this point. So will be down to sort of, real negotiation, I hope, completion. And our goal all along was as soon as humanly possible, and so we've communicated that a number of times.
Okay, great. Yeah.
As long as we're on information items, which we should have taken up before. So Whitney and I were on Sunday afternoon. There was a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout ceremony that we're invited to over in the Whitney Ranch area. And it was really wonderful. There were 3 young men who got their Eagle Scouts. It was fun to be there. One of the Eagle Scouts was Jennifer Brown's son, Anders. And they all did 3 individual projects. They were all super. They were all community oriented, but it was really so special to watch, these young men start the next phase of life. And they're really just, it was very heartwarming to be among and around all of those folks. So it was really good. Yes. Okay. Ben.
Yeah. After doing a little bit more research, based on a comment we received from Jason Daggett about abandoned homes and how that is also something that can help bring down individual property values, and asking a few other residents that had opinions on that, I've come to find out that it really is it's a big deal. So I wanted to see if we could bring forward an abandoned home ordinance that will allow the homes that are around it not to be pulled down in value, to protect their value by the appearance of the way that it's boarded up. The property can still be kept up, even if it's abandoned. And there's actually a couple of really good examples of that I've asked some pictures to be taken of and brought forward. And so we'd like to see if we could talk about that.
Okay, good. Direction to staff. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a really good point, because the tools that we have are pretty expansive in code enforcement, but outside of there's one section that exists in almost every municipal code, which is just general public nuisance, and that's a broad term. And so when you get down to, Newbie and I have had to deal with this, unfortunately, in the past a couple of times. When you get down to the detail of an abandoned home or something that's so dilapidated that it may actually need to be taken down, you get into deep legal waters. And so I think what we want to do is have language in your muni code that sort of prescribes exactly what we're looking for and how we address that, because we're balancing private property rights. It's one thing to address somebody's fence or, issues on the periphery of their home. It's another thing when you get into the actual structure and taking ownership of that potentially. So we'll look at that and propose some language for y'all to consider.
Thanks. Thank you. John? Okay, good. Council initiated business? The committee? Okay, committee reports.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a little bit. If you want me to go last, I can. I was going to talk about cap to cap, but I can try to get through it quickly.
Good.
Okay,
Go,
all right.
absolutely.
So I went to DC a week and a half ago on the cap to cap trip for Lincoln, and I was on the public safety team. I've been on the public safety team since 2019, since my first trip. Last year I did both transportation and public safety. This year they didn't want people to double up, so I went back to public safety 100%. And so the way it works is every team has position papers and things that they're advocating for, and sometimes they might word them a little differently, but they're a lot of the same things. One of the things, and Zach, you can correct me if I'm overstating it. One of the things we've been advocating for that I actually spoke to our congressman about last year was the issue of drones. And so when you have a law enforcement activity, whether you're looking for a suspect or looking for maybe a lost child with special needs or a parent with Alzheimer's or something like that, or you have a fire incident, whatever, drones are very helpful and they keep staff a lot safer. When you have residents or hobbyists that are flying their drones at the same time, we had no, local jurisdictions had no authority to make them stop. And so our have to come down and it hinders the public safety process. We've been asking our congressman to push forward legislation to give local jurisdictions some authority to handle that. And what I was told is that we have a little bit now, like we have a little bit of teeth now that we can, right? Correct? Okay, that's good, yeah. So that way, if some yahoo is flying a drone and we're trying to put out a fire or we're trying to find somebody or locate a suspect, we can make them bring it down. So that is a good report because that's something we've been working on the last couple of years and we finally got in language in the last defense bill. So that was really good. And they're still working on it. I think they're trying to strengthen it and do some more. So that was good. The other thing is we were also advocating for federal funding to go along with local funding for two things: the Regional Training Center, which benefits public safety again, and the crime lab. So the training center, right now, when we have people who come through the program, we want to hire them, we have to send them to Sacramento. And Sacramento is very impacted because everybody goes there and it just takes us longer to get people through the process. And so John is on the WAPMA board now, but I was on when we started the negotiations with Sierra College. They are buying land that belongs to the Waste Authority out there to build a regional training center. And so there's funding coming in from different places, and it's really going to help our, for Placer County, probably a little bit of Sacramento, El Dorado. That way we can put people through the training and get them boots on the ground a lot faster, correct? Right, so we're pushing for that. The other thing is the crime lab, and so our DA, Morgan Geyer, is also on our team, and the county has already allocated $40 to $45 million to build this, and the crime lab is going to go in Placer One, where the Sac State campus is supposed to be. And the way they're going to build this is kind of like a teaching hospital method or model, where students will come and they'll work in the crime lab and they'll be learning as they're processing. So right now, a lot of times justice is delayed for either the accused or victims because we have to rely on state crime labs, which are getting ready to reduce services, if you can believe that about the state, right? And so the goal is to build this crime lab, which will really service our region well. And so we were advocating for, and there's a little flyer here. So like I said, the county is giving $40 to $45 million to build it. And then the federal ask for equipment was 1.65. And so in some of the meetings, obviously you can't go to everyone. We split up in the team. And when the DA wasn't in my particular meetings, they would ask me, since I'm from this region, would I speak about it? So I did the crime lab and the training center. So, and I think what I was told is we've made the appropriations list, and so they just got to push it through. So that was really good. And yeah, and then one last thing that there's a couple things, but one really, really important topic that just killed me the whole time, and you guys can probably speak to this too. One of the problems that we're seeing is battery walls and EV batteries. So there's a couple things that happened. Sacramento has 4 firefighters that are out and probably will not go back to work. And one of them is on oxygen, and he's like 30-something years old because they were exposed to the toxics from these lithium ion batteries. And the problem is that there's no place to dispose of them. Like, nobody will take them. So what do we do with them? And that they catch on fire, then they have to make sure that their equipment is fully on and all the right things, and Chief could probably speak to that. But if they get the toxins on them, they have to send their uniforms and their gear, I think, to Ohio, right? And it's like $350 to clean these suits, which is not refundable to the department. So that's a problem. But our firefighters are being injured because if they aren't suited up before they realize that this battery's on fire. In Roseville, there was a school bus that caught on fire, and normally they'd say, well, let it just burn. The problem, it was lined up with 20 other buses, right? And so that would be catastrophic. And so they were actually fortunate enough to make sure that they were geared up well enough. And they had one firefighter that was a little bit affected, but he's going to be okay. Troy Bergstrom, the police chief in Roseville, who's actually retired now as of Tuesday, congratulations to him. He said, like, sometimes the officers will walk into that mess before they know it. And if they get it on their uniforms, they're just going to throw those away and buy new ones because it's not as expensive as the firefighters. So the problem here, we're asking for legislation for not to get rid of EVs or the battery walls or whatever, but find a way to, how are we going to dispose of these, and how are we going to keep people safe, keep our first responders safe? So that just made me really worry for our teams, so I don't know if you guys have had a lot of that go on here, but it really just struck me, and I'm like, we got to do something about this. So.
Yeah, so it's a major concern for us regionally. This is actually one of the topics we talk about daily on all of our issues with the chiefs. And so it's really a countywide issue. We're looking at how we get disposal. No one will take them because these batteries will continue to off gas for months. So it's a huge challenge. The way that we're kind of approaching it is really approach it like a hazmat situation.
Unfortunately, a lot of firefighters have had to suffer some severe injuries just for us to figure this out. It was a kind of a new ground for us because we fought these like normal vehicle fires or normal fires that we would fight. So really, we're kind of taking a very standoffish approach. You don't want to put water on it, turns into a hazmat scenario, but in certain circumstances, we have to risk a lot to save a lot. So our firefighters are very prepared for it, but it is new territory, new ground. And with every new bit of technology that's kind of coming out, we're having to change our tactics. So yeah, we are looking for support, I think, regionally, because we need the county to kind of step up and say, this isn't a Lincoln problem, or Rockland problem, or Roseville problem. It's going to be a county issue. And so we need to find a place to properly dispose of all these batteries and look for some sort of cost recovery in these, because one incident could really, cost us a lot of money in just replacing turnouts.
Right.
And really, turnouts are a long process to even get. So that's what we're kind of talking about. We're really collectively coming together as the fire chiefs and looking at it regionally and saying, hey, how can we have a cache of turnouts? How can we do this? And Roseville's been fantastic. They've really been leading the charge with it because I think they've been impacted first. So, yep, big issue. Thank you for being involved in it.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. So thank you for that. So that was the major things. There's a couple other things, like we're always asking for federal funding for the COPS grant, the SAFER grant, for hiring and that sort of thing. We kind of got torched by Congressman McClintock because he doesn't agree with all of that. But it was okay. But we had good productive meetings, and it was worthwhile. So that's my report.
Thank you. Yep. Whitney?
No, that's really interesting, and thanks for sharing all that. We were talking about that earlier, and I was thinking about that with the truck that we were just looking at approving, and I'm just picturing in my brain all of the EVs that are coming on, and then remembering that trip that we did at Beale with the fire truck and the whole apparatus that they had that was new, that, I didn't know that you couldn't just put it out like a regular fire until that field trip.
Right. Well,
And what
so
that's like.
one thing I forgot to mention, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Mhm.
is Roseville has had 3 garbage truck fires because people don't know where to dispose of the batteries, so they throw them in the garbage, and the
Oh.
garbage truck picks them up, and they start fire on the garbage truck. So, yeah, so hopefully that doesn't happen to us. That would be awful. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a thing. So I'm glad that we're all being proactive, and our chief and team and everybody's getting together as a region, because it's definitely what it's going to take. So I'm really confident that we've got the right leader to lead that charge. And thank you for your advocacy.
You bet.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good though. I don't
Okay, good. Last week, I attended the Titan Advisory Board. for
Oh,
the
that's right. I
Titan-
was at that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the meeting was relatively sparsely populated, but the Corps of Engineers provided almost like a final draft report. And it was also had been reviewed by the Water Board. And so they're working through the final decisions. There's 6 options, 3 of which seem to be viable, but they're all long-term, they're all expensive. So TBD, things are still happening on that, and we move forward.
Well, can I add on to that? It was interesting to me hearing that it's going to take anywhere between, was it 20
3
years?
to 55 years.
Well, 3 didn't count. I feel like she was just sharing that with us to show us that she even said on the slide, it was not a viable option. So then I think it threw everyone off, and everyone got really confused.
20 years.
20 to 50 years. So everybody, I just felt like it was good to know that. It was disappointing, and I'm sure it was most disappointing to, people that own some of that property and the developers, but I think it's good for people to know so they can manage their expectations. And, it is what it is. It's a big bummer, but it is what it is. And at least they're doing something.
And we're still applying the pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah.
that's the key, so.
The fact that they're even out here and they're doing these presentations, and that group is great. I was really impressed.
Okay, thanks. John? Okay, Ben? Okay, do we have anything else that in order or out of order? Okay, good. We're adjourned.